guys, for today's Annette-mas episode, we are going to be doing something that I did quite a while ago. I want to say it's been a few months now and a lot of you seem to really like it. So in today's episode, we're going to make our own little Christmas palettes using my single shadows. I'm so excited. I've already filmed it. It's going to be so much fun. I am going to switch the angle so that you can see down on my table when we do this, but I just wanted to film the intro and like explain to you what is going on. So originally I had made these palettes like kind of using Photoshop and I wanted to just kind of talk about them and put them up on the screen, but I thought that that would be kind of boring, so instead I want to use the same pictures that I had originally made palettes with and just kind of do it with my single shadows and see where we go from there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head on over to my table. Okay, welcome to my singles yet again. So let's get into the first picture that I would like to make a palette out of. So I will pop that up on the screen right now. And as you can see, this is a beautiful little cartoony, cute reindeer, and I am just so here for that. I can't wait to make a little palette out of it. So I think what I want to do for this palette is I want this to be a 9-pan palette. I have my little Lethal Cosmetics empty palette here, which I've taken out my Lethal shadows from, and I think I'm going to use this to place the shadows in. So I think I want to start off by probably finding a black matte, because I feel like this really needs to have a black matte in it. So I'm just going to pull up the picture on my phone so I can actually take a look at it and see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a black matte in here, and I'm pretty sure I know where I have that already. I'm still trying to figure out like the best way to really film these so that you can see what I'm doing and you can kind of see like some of my collection at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the black single that I have in here. I don't think this is my best black in my collection, but it'll serve the purpose because the whole point is just to kind of make a color story, you know? So this is going to be my black. Actually, should I use a smaller palette? I don't know. Maybe this will end up being a 12-pan palette. I have not yet decided, but we have a black in here at least. And where I want to go next is I definitely want to pull in some warm tones here. So how I'm going to look at this is I'm going to see where, like, what kind of mattes do I want to have to work with this black, and I'm thinking I definitely want to have some kind of like oranges in here. I might even pull in a brown because I feel like a brown is just going to work very well, but I'm also just like looking at my shadows in here, and this shadow is just screaming my name so much because of his nose. So I think I am going to pop this in here as well. This is like a orangey red. It's not like a true red, it's more on like the orange side. I'll give you a quick swatch here. But you can see it's not really like super red, but I feel like this is perfect for what I'm looking for in this palette. So I also know that I'm going to need some kind of a gold, and the problem is that all of the warm tone shimmers that I have are basically in here, and I don't have like a true gold shadow. So I don't know what I want to do about that. I mean, I do have this one, but it's kind of more of like an orange, I guess you could say. It's like an orangey gold, and I don't feel like, I mean, it would be really pretty in this palette, but I just feel like I want to have like a true gold. So I actually think I might cheat a little bit. I did pull out my Make Up Your Mind palette by Colourpop, and this one does have a gold in it. That's almost like a yellowy gold though. I don't know. Let's just go ahead and give this a swatch. I'm not sure if this is like as gold as I would like for it to be. I mean, it is more on the yellow side, isn't it? I don't really know. Like, this is so hard because I feel like I don't have like the exact gold that I'm looking for. I mean, that's more like what I was thinking, but that's also not like the best shadow. So what do I want to do? I feel like, what about this one? Yeah, that's yellow as well. I feel like I don't have a true gold. Like, that's kind of crazy. I feel like I need to start a list of shadows that I'm missing in my collection, and gold would definitely be one of them, and that really shouldn't be that hard to find. But I think for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one, which was the kind of like orangey one that I swatched here. I think that was that one? Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this one, because I do feel like this is going to look really nice like with the color scheme here. But now I'm like, we need some more mattes because we obviously can't just have, you know, 2 shimmers and 1 matte in here. We need more mattes. I personally prefer to have more mattes and shimmers in my palettes, or like equally, like half and half. Like, I think half and half is like my ideal if I had to choose. So I'm definitely gonna go ahead and find some mattes. So obviously all mattes I pick now is going to go very nicely with the black. So I'm thinking I want to pull in definitely like some kind of a warm tone. So let's go ahead and find like my warm tones here. All right, here they are. So these are basically all of my warm tone mattes. So let's see, what do I want to have in my palette here? What's going to go nicely with these? I do want to have like some kind of a dark brown. I know that's crazy, but like I just feel like for this palette to be complete, I feel like it needs to have some kind of a warm brown matte. And I'm thinking the one that I'm going to choose is going to be Hibernate from Clionadh, because I really like the tone of this. It's not really like, you know, a brown is a brown, but like it almost has a bit of like a burgundy undertone to it when you swatch it out. It's not just like a pure brown. So I really think that that's like kind of a unique shade, but I also still need more mattes, obviously. So I'm thinking I want to pick some kind of like an orangey matte, and then we'll kind of take it from there. And then we have like the bases of like the reindeer down, I feel like, and then we can move into maybe some purples and blues to kind of go with the background to kind of get a bit of more of a unique color story going. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna pull out like a very basic like orangey matte here. So obviously you can tell already like this isn't really my kind of color story because it's like very neutral, but like I still feel like with the black and with this kind of reddish shimmer, it's still kind of unique, you know? So we're gonna go ahead and I think close off these warm tones and kind of go into some more of the cool tones here and see what we can find. And I'm also seeing that there's a little bit of green in the background with the trees, so maybe we can pull in some kind of a green. Let me see if I can find my greens. Actually, let's take a stop at the purples here, because I do feel like I want some kind of a purple in here, even though there isn't like a lot of purple in the picture, but like in the background, like all the way up top, you can see a little bit of purple poking through. So I think I want to kind of play off of that, because purple is going to go beautifully with all of these colors. And I'm thinking I want it to be a shimmer, but I don't really know. Maybe a matte could be kind of nice actually. So these are all of my matte purples, and I think I'm kind of leaning towards, I don't know if I want something like super bright. I'm thinking maybe something more like this kind of color, but I don't know. I feel like all of these three are like of the same depth right now, which is like, it's not a problem, but I do want something maybe just a little bit darker or a little bit lighter, but we still have room to play. So I'm thinking I want to kind of keep this in here and maybe even pull in like, you know, like a lighter blue that would blend very nicely into the purple. That could be kind of cool. Maybe I'll see if I can find a blue. Do I want to have like a pink shimmer or anything in this? I don't think I do. I think I'm just going to go ahead and find like some kind of a blue matte. And as you can see, I don't have a ton of blue mattes. Basically, these are all of like the blue mattes that I have in my collection, and I feel like I kind of have a little bit of a gap here since I don't have that many, but I feel like this could be kind of nice to put in there. This might be nice as well, but this is almost like the same depth as these colors as well. So I'm kind of thinking I want to take a little bit of this. This is Tundra by Clionadh. And I feel like the color story is like starting to become more unique now. So let me just take a look at the picture again here and see what else I want to bring in. So I definitely feel like all of the colors in the picture are now like prominent in the palette itself. I feel like what's missing so far is we need 2 more shimmers, and I'm thinking I want to have like a very light shimmer. And since we just pulled in a blue, I don't know, but then when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, I don't think a blue shimmer is going to go very nicely with like these warm tones. And if you want to have an inner corner shade that's a shimmer, I don't think if you have like red on your lid, you want to have a blue in your inner corner. So maybe something very light, like maybe on the yellow side even. Maybe I'll have like a very light yellow shimmer somewhere. I think that could be kind of nice. And then more of like a mid-tone blue shimmer possibly. So I think I'm gonna take one of these here, and I'm thinking this could maybe be a good option. Like, it's not like my favorite formula, but let's just give this a swatch. I don't remember what this looks like. Okay, so this is kind of like it's like a light champagne, I guess you could call this. This is Klondike Gold Rush from Clionadh as well. We're gonna pop that in there. I feel like the 3 shimmers that we have so far go very nicely together, but now my issue is that if I'm going to use any of these shimmers with the mattes, it's a little bit weird because we only have like 1 blue. So I do think I want to pull in something else that's blue. And I also feel like it needs to be sort of like a mid-tone, because it needs to like mix well into the purple and the brown and the black, because those are the colors that you would have in your crease. You could of course use them on your lower lash line as well. So I'm trying to figure out like which one of these would go good with this color story. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm kind of like, I don't know if we need all of these 3 warm shimmers. I don't know. Like, I'm tempted to make this into a 12 pan because I don't feel like this is like a very easy color story to work with. I feel like we need something. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of happy with it. I don't know what I was just saying. It's weird. Like, when you're making palettes, like, in one way, you're trying to like get the inspiration to come through in the palette, but you also need to think about the color story in that. What kind of looks am I going to be able to do with this? And that's where I'm struggling, because I feel like sometimes I overthink that a little bit, and I'm like, well, there needs to be a color to go with this color and a color to go with that color, and then I'm like, you know what, scrap that. Like, this is too much. Just like go with the color that you like that's going to go with the palette, and just let the color story be what it is. So I think what I'm going to pick is I'm going to pick either one of these 2 blue shimmers, and I haven't quite decided which one. I wish I had something that was like sort of in between. Maybe I would. I don't love this as much as I love the other 2 here. They're just like better shadows, you know? And I think I want to go with, maybe I'll just go with this one. What if we try to pop this in here? So am I happy with this? Let me take a look at the picture again. I mean, I would buy that palette, you know? I really feel like I would buy that palette. I think I'm happy with that, honestly. So it ended up being 6 mattes and 4 shimmers, which I think is like a perfect ratio. And I do feel like there's a lot of things you can do with this palette. So let me go ahead and do some quick swatches before we get into like the next palette. And I will also, of course, show you a close-up of the first palette that is made here. And I think for the next ones, I want to do like a 6 pan, and then I want to do a 12 pan, just so we have like a little bit of variety. So these are the swatches of the palette, and honestly, I could see so many looks that I could do with these. Now, I'm not going to do any looks with this because I simply just don't have time. And this is just a way for me to play around with my single shadows without having to film looks with them and still be able to have some fun and like feel like I'm able to use them, you know? So this is the palette all complete, and I really, really like this. So let's move into the next one. Okay, so let's go again, and this time, like I said, I want to do a 6 pan palette, and the picture that I want to use for this is going to be this one that I'm putting up on the screen right now. This is absolutely beautiful, and I feel like this is like the perfect color scheme where you don't need to make like a big palette, but you can still make a really cool color story out of the colors in this picture. So where I want to start is I want to start by finding a very, very dark teal to kind of be like the shadow to kind of build this palette around, because I feel like this needs something very, very dark to be able to make the kind of looks that I feel like you get the vibe from this picture. So we're going back into my blues here, and the one that I plan on picking is going to be this one, which is from, I don't know where this is from, and I don't want to break it. This is Indiana Love by Cindy Grace. I'm pretty sure I've used that before, and I really, really like this. So I feel like we're going to be sticking to mostly these colors in here because it just like makes sense with the color story. So I also think I want to have a very, very light kind of inner corner shade here, because obviously I feel like I always want that. And the one that I'm kind of like leaning towards when I'm looking at all of these is probably going to be this one right here, which almost has a bit of a, not a green shift to it, it's almost like a white with a blue shift. This is really, really pretty. It's not like the best formula, actually. It's kind of nice. I take that back. This is from Cliona as well. It's Cryosphere. So we're gonna pop both of those in there, and then let's see, where do I want to go next? I do feel like I need at least one more matte, so let's go ahead and find a matte that would go with that. And I'm thinking, just from looking at these, that this one is going to be really, really nice. So already, I mean, this could be like a quad, you know? I could put in another shadow here and be perfectly happy with this. I do think I want to have something very bright blue though, because there is like this bauble in the picture that's very blue, and I'm thinking I want to use this one. This is from Glaminatrix. This is beautiful. It's called Sapphire. And I feel like that added like a lot to this palette. And I also see these little like gold specks in the background, you know? So I feel like maybe it would be fun to put in like a pop of like orange, or like, I don't know, just something to kind of represent the lights in this picture. I don't know if I want it to be a matte or a shimmer, but already I feel like we have such a good variety of like mattes and shimmers here that no matter what I put in, it's going to be pretty easy to work with. So I'm thinking I want to do something like this maybe. I know I used this in a video recently and I really like this. This is Caribou from Cliona. I feel like I'm picking all of the Cliona shadows. Like, this is not so like in your face that it's not going to work with these other shadows. I feel like if I were to put in like a true orange. Like it would be very hard to work that in with the mattes, especially because it's just going to look a little bit weird, especially when you don't have like an other shimmer to also blend it into. So I feel like this is going to mix nicely into these other colors. So if we're just gonna have one more, like what do I feel like is missing? Do I want it to be a matte or do I want it to be a shimmer? And do I want it to maybe be like a pop of color in here? I don't know. I feel like the color story already is just like so nice that I don't want to really mess with like the vibe of this. So I don't know. If I wish I could ask for your help. Like I wish I could be like, hey guys, what do you think would be nice in here? I'm thinking possibly something like this maybe. Like maybe this could be kind of nice to be like a bit of a different pop here. But I also want to just take a look at all of my bigger shadows here. I feel like maybe there could be one in here that would add to this. But I don't know. Like now that I'm looking at these, I'm like, you know what? I don't really think that any of these would be nice with what we already have here. So I'm going to put these away again because I'm not really feeling that. What about this one right here? Could that be nice? I don't even know what this is. I feel like this is probably another Cleona shadow. That's actually quite beautiful. I feel like that would make for a very, very nice smoky eye with this one in the crease and then just put this like all over the lid. Maybe I should swap that. No, I kind of want that in there though. What if I swap this one with a matte and then I put this one in together with those? Like, would that be a good color story? See, now I feel like it's missing a little bit of like oomph that is just like not bright enough, you know? So I don't really like that. I actually like this a lot more. I'm gonna keep this in. Do I want to just add this one in as well and have it be more shimmers and mattes this time? I don't usually do that, but I feel like with these mattes you can do so many different things. I don't know. I feel like this one is a little bit tough for me. Like, I don't know if I like this in here. I feel like, what do I feel like? Maybe I should put in like a matte that would kind of go with this shimmer, but also would be, you know, easy to kind of blend into some of these teals here. I don't know if I have anything that would like kind of merge the line between being a cool tone and a warm tone that would like blend into both of them. I'm not really sure what I'm like thinking of going with. I don't know what would even work with that. That's tough. So I'm kind of thinking like what I want to add to this, and I sort of feel like maybe like a matte yellow would be kind of nice with this. I wish I had a round matte yellow, but I just don't. So we're probably gonna have to just deal with it not being like, you know, as aesthetically perfect as it could be. And just, I like that because now if you have a yellow, you can easily mix that into the blues and teals and it'll kind of create a bit of a green. And I think that could be really cool with this color story. And I also feel like you could use the yellow in its crease like on its own, possibly with just like bronze shade on the lid if you're into that. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of cool. Like, I like that color story a lot. I think I'm gonna leave it at that actually. I'm pretty happy with that. So this is going to be the second palette all done. Let's go ahead and do some quick swatches of this one as well here. So these are the swatches. Is this a palette that I would buy? I think if someone came out with a, like let's say Colourpop came out with a 6-pan like this, with the cover, with the photo that I picked, I would buy this. You know what? I really think I would buy this. I think this is a fun color story. It's a little bit different, but I still feel like it's kind of festive in a way, and I like this a lot. Let me know if you like this. Let me know if you would have swapped anything else out, if you feel like maybe the yellow was a bit out of place. I kind of feel like it ties everything together. I don't know. I'm kind of weird though, but like, I like this. So let's go ahead and make one last palette. I want this last palette to be a 12-pan, and I have a picture in mind that's just going to be beautiful for that. Okay, so let's move into the last one here, and this is a absolutely beautiful Christmas tree that I found on Google, just like I did with all of these other pictures, but I love this. I think the color combination here is just so beautiful. So what I want to do is I definitely want to have like pinks and purples be like the basis of the mattes, and I'm thinking I also want to have like a very dark purple in here as well. So let's start off with the purples. Alright, so here we are. Now I'm looking at my purples now, and I don't really have like a super dark purple, which it's not really a problem. I mean, we can always throw in like a black if I want to have something that's even deeper than that, or like a very dark shimmer. But personally, I don't love having the darkest shade in my palette be a shimmer. But let's just go ahead and pick out some of these colors now. So there's some very bright colors in like the baubles. So I do want to pick out some like kind of bright mattes here to go with that. So I'm gonna start off with this purple right here. We're gonna need like some kind of a darker purple as well. And the darkest purple I have is not like as vibrant as I would like for it to be, but I still feel like it's going to be nice in here. And obviously, you know, if I had other matte purples, I would probably pick them, but since I don't, I'm just gonna go with what I have here because we can't all have like a perfect singles collection, you know? I feel like I'm always going to have gaps. So let's just keep going. I do want to have, I think this shadow in here, this is beautiful. It's Wednesday by Glaminatrix. And I think I also want to have some kind of like a blurple. So I have this one right here, which I feel like that would go very well with this, especially if I put in some kind of like another blue matte as well. So let's just kind of pop that out and put it in here. I like to start with my mattes because the mattes are what's going to decide like your looks. If you're the kind of person who has mattes in your crease like I do all the time, I've never really been a fan of having all shimmery looks. So for me, like the colors of the mattes are way more important than the colors of the shimmer. So I like to be able to know that at least the mattes in the palette are going to work well together. So I'm gonna go ahead and find a blue as well. I want to have like a very dark blue matte. It might even be the one that I used in one of my other palettes here that we just made. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna use the same blue that I used in one of the other palettes here because this one is just so beautiful and I just think that is gonna go very nicely with this. And let's see, what else do I want to do? Do I want to have another blue matte in here? You know what, since this is going to be a 12 pan, I might as well pop another blue in there because I can. So these are like so far the mattes that we have. Do I feel like it needs more depth? I feel like we're okay depth-wise. I do wish I had just a darker purple, but it's okay. I mean, I can't really do anything about that because I don't have a darker purple matte, so we're just gonna have to leave it like this. Do I want to have any other mattes in this palette? I think we're gonna go ahead and start with the shimmers. So I definitely want to have some pink and purple shimmers. So let's go ahead and take a look at those first here. So here are some of them. I feel like I have more somewhere else, but I don't know what I'm missing. Let's start though. I think I want to definitely have something very, very dark here. So I'm thinking either this shadow or this shadow. This one is my favorite, but I feel like this doesn't really go as well with the color scheme. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick this. And I also do want like some quite light shimmers in this palette as well. So I'm gonna pop in this one, which is also from Glaminatrix. I feel like those are like the only ones that I'm picking. And I also want to have some blue shimmers in here. Is there like another pop of color that I feel like I could put in with the others? Because I feel like this is mostly going to be like a purple and blue palette because it's just like what the most of the colors in the picture is like. But I do feel like there's a little bit of orange and stuff in there. So maybe like an orange shimmer could be kind of nice. I don't know. Let's go ahead and find like a blue though, because I do want there to be some blue shimmers in here too. That shadow is really nice though. Is that something I would want to have? I don't know. I'm kind of not really feeling like a duochrome in this. I don't know. That's probably a strange thing to say, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this away because I don't think I want anything in here. And also because the shadows are just like large, you know? It just kind of throws off everything, I feel like. Let's go back into these though, because I do feel like I want to have some more blue shimmers in here. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go with this one. Did I put that in my other palette too? I feel like I did, but I just love that shadow so much. And I also kind of want to have, does this have any green in it? Actually, no, not really. It's more like just a pure light blue. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and use that as well. What else do I want? Is this where I want to kind of put in like a curveball? That is the question. Like, I wonder what would happen if I would just put in a orange shimmer and an orange matte. Like, could that be an idea? Because orange goes very nicely with these other colors, so it would like just blend very well in together. I think maybe I'm gonna try that. So let's first find like an orange matte. I think we're gonna start with that. So these are my orange mattes. Do I want to have something very bright or a little bit more muted? I'm thinking I want it to be like sort of in between. So I think I used this one in the other palette as well. For some reason, I'm just like drawn to like the more, how do I say it? It's not primary colors, but not like the more muted and the darker colors. I tend to go for like the brights more than anything else. Like, I easily could have popped this in here, which would definitely like mute everything down more, but I feel like this wouldn't mix as nicely into these other colors. So I'm gonna leave that in there, and then we're gonna find one more shadow, and I'm thinking I want it to be some kind of a warm tone shimmer in here. So one of these colors I feel like would look really nice with this palette. And I think we're just gonna go ahead and go with this one for now. I don't think I'm like 100% happy with this though. Like, the feeling that I'm getting from the picture is more kind of like light and airy, so I feel like maybe I want to pull in some kind of like a pastel of some sort to replace some of these shadows. I don't really know if I have that though, like that's the problem. Like I feel like it's a lot easier for me to like Photoshop pictures, which is what I was doing like before I decided I wanted to actually make them with my singles, because that way I can get exactly what it is that I want. And I feel like when I'm using my singles, I can't really do that because I don't have all of the shadows that I would like to have in my collection. But it's also just like a fun challenge, you know, like it's cool to sit down and just play with your singles from time to time. I really enjoy doing this. So let's go back into these mattes here. I do feel like I want to have like a very, very light matte, but I don't know what I would replace it with, because I almost feel like all of these shadows need to be in here. What if I take this one out and replace that with a circle just to make it more, you know, aesthetically pleasing here, because that one was throwing it off a little bit. Like I kind of feel like I like that more, even though like this is not a shadow that I would ever personally use because it's a little bit too light for what I normally reach for. I do feel like it kind of has a place in this palette. I feel like what will make this palette like more perfect in my mind was if this was more of like a dark warm tone purple, which again, like I said, I don't really think I have that. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is now, I think. And again, we ended up with more mattes and shimmers, which I think is really nice. I am, however, going to like rearrange this a little bit because I do feel like it's not looking the way that it could in terms of like presentation. I feel like this could end up looking a lot better and more cohesive if I just kind of switch the shadows around a little bit. So let me try to just rearrange these and see if I can come up with a bit of a better positioning here. I feel my heart is going full speed. I can't control it. Can't keep up with the rhythm of it all. Is this all an illusion? 'Cause I'm getting deluded. Can't keep up with the rhythm of it all. So personally, I like when my shadows are a little bit like scattered. I can't stand when it's arranged from like light to darkest, and like in terms of formula, like I like my shadows to be like very randomly placed, but still in a way that, I don't know, you can kind of see color combinations together, because I don't like when I have to come up with color combinations on my own. Like it's nice to kind of have the palette be like laid out for you in a way where there are shadows next to each other that maybe you wouldn't put next to each other, but that still work. Does that make sense? Like that's kind of just how I like my palettes to be. So let's go ahead and do some swatches of this. I feel like these are going to come up looking so nice. Okay, wow, is that not just a beautiful color story? I love that. I would love to have that palette. I think that is stunning. Oh my god, like this might be my favorite. I don't know. Like the first one, I feel like I like all of them, you know? Like if they were real palettes, I think I would buy them all. And I think this is a fun color story. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is representing of the picture? I like that I pulled in the oranges, even though you can't really like see the oranges that well in the photo, but I feel like they just added a little bit of like extra something something, you know. And you could also even make like a all orange look if you wanted to, because there's a matte and a shimmer. I really like this palette. I think this turned out really, really fun. So I guess those are going to be my palettes that I made. Let me know which one was your favorite. Also, let me know like what other holiday or something coming up that you want to see me do this with next, because I feel like it's easy to take like a theme and then make like palettes out of it. I don't know if maybe like Valentine's Day is going to be my next one. Is there anything else coming up between like December and February? Probably not, right? So I would say probably Valentine's Day would be the next time that I would like make my own palettes, because it's like the next holiday. But these are going to be my Christmas palettes, and I just think that they are so cute. I love them so much. So let me know what you think. I hope you like these kind of videos. If you do, please keep watching them, because it means that I'm going to be more encouraged to keep making them, because these kind of videos don't normally get a lot of views. So if you do enjoy them, please make sure to watch them, because that really does make me know that you want to see more of this. So thank you for watching. As always, if you want to see some other single content videos that I have on my channel, I'll pop a few up on the screen. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!